Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Maggie. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am refinishing this vintage tall bench seat. I got it from an estate sale for $40. The lady said that her parents owned it for many years and she thinks it came from a hotel. There are clips on one side where you could attach another one to. It's in really good condition with a solid wood base and a cushioned seat. I plan to do a textured finish and add new fabric, so stick around if you want to see how it all comes together. Alright, here we go. So I have never done a textured finish before, but I love how they turn out. I watch Chris Donna on Belle. She does some amazing textured finishes on furniture. So I'm following one of her videos. The instructions she gives is excellent, and so I've mixed up some baking soda, coarse salt, and plaster of Paris. I don't know how much I put in each, but I've mixed it into that big container and now I'm just adding it to some of my paint. So this will be my first layer that I'm adding. This is like a do-it-yourself version of a textured paint finish. The additives you can buy, there are companies that make it, but this was a challenge I think that Chris Donna did, and I commented on her video and I said that I would really love to try this one day, and she told me to do it, so I'm listening and here I am. I don't think exact measurements are really needed. In the powdered mixture, the textured additive, I've probably added about equal parts of the salt and the baking soda and then maybe a little bit less of the plaster of Paris. Now I'm adding a lot to my paint, and in hindsight I shouldn't have added that much. Because you're building up the layers, your first layer doesn't need to have as much as I am putting in at the moment. So this mixture is like a really thick kind of brownie batter, and it doesn't need to be that thick. So when I go to, if I do this textured finish again, then I have learned from this mistake. Not that it's a bad mistake, like it still turned out okay, but I just don't think that it needed to be that much in the first layer of paint. I should mention that I cleaned this piece. I did not sand it. It didn't need it because I'm doing a textured finish instead of a smooth finish. So I'm just going to stipple it on all over to create little peaks. I am going to add some gilding wax to the handles afterwards, so don't worry, they aren't going to stay paint covered. When I took the base off, I realized that it was solid wood and it was in really good condition, so I decided to sand it all down and stain it. I put in pocket holes to hold the legs on more secure after I had found a broken screw that had pulled right through the particle board. Those plastic feet had to go. I found a small crack in one of the legs that I just added a tiny little bit of glue and a clamp, and it was fine. If you've watched any of my previous videos, then you know that my son likes to come and help me from time to time. And this was a job that was easy enough for him to handle. So he pulled out tons and tons of staples, and he really did a good job. It is almost winter time here in Canada. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and we get lots of snow, so we're used to it, but we still hate it when it happens. So this day it was pretty chilly outside, so we ended up bringing the project inside. My order from Woody Bend showed up at the perfect time. I decided, because I had ordered some stencils, I wasn't planning on using them on this project, but it just so happens that they showed up and I wanted to use one, so I did a little stenciling on the sides of this drawer. With just a tiny bit of paint on my paintbrush, I rubbed it into the stencil instead of stippling. This is Fiji. She is technically my daughter's cat. She does spend a lot of time with me though. I caught her supervising my fabric before I could get to it. I cut a piece of felt and then I cut a piece of wool fabric that I found at the thrift shop. If you haven't checked out my previous video, I just on a whim I did a thrift shop haul video and I just uploaded it actually last night, so check that out if you're interested. My idea with this is that I was going to quilt it. Just do like square quilting, straight lines, and that I thought would help hold the wool together so that it won't stretch, because wool will stretch. I am not going to show you all the footage I have of sewing this fabric together because I didn't end up using this fabric. I spent a lot of time sewing it and I didn't use it, but that's just how it goes sometimes. During the winter, I usually do all of my sanding in my front porch. So I put my mask on, and because it has a filter, I thought that I was protected pretty good, but as you could see, a lot of the dust came through the seam at the front. So I may have to double up my filters in my masks. I'm curious if anyone else has had this same issue, so leave me a comment down below. I didn't get all of the finish off of the spindle part of the legs, and I'm okay with that. I did some extra hand sanding though to just sand it down. And then I'm going to stain it a dark color, so you'll never be able to tell underneath the dark color that I didn't sand it down to bare wood underneath. And also it kind of goes in line anyways with the rusticness of this piece of furniture. My Would You Bend keyhole came in the mail, so I was able to glue that on. You are probably wondering what the heck I'm doing now. I am not done with the textured finish. I'm adding different layers of paint and more texture. So this is more of that texture additive. I am just sprinkling it on top, and then I'm going to spray it with some vinegar, and that's going to react with the baking soda and the salt, and it's going to bubble up. When the texture additive dries, it will harden, and that's due to the plaster of Paris. After the mixture has completely dried, I'm going to now do a thin layer of my second color, just right over top of the baking soda mixture. At this point in hindsight, I really didn't need to do this extra coat of textured finish. I probably could have skipped this, no problem. But also at the same time, maybe you need to have this powdered finish in between each layer of paint, so that when you go to scrape some off, different layers will show. Maybe that is something I can experiment with in the future. Okay, now we are on to our third color. I'm using Country Chic paint for the first time on this project, and so far I'm really liking it. It's a clay-based paint. I will list all of the paint colors in the description below, so check that out if you want to. Now I'm on to the fourth color. This is a lighter color. It's almost a white, but it's like a beigey kind of creamy color. I chose a range of lighter and darker colors so that there would be some high contrast, and I can use this lighter color as more like a highlight. The next color I chose was yellow. This one is from Fusion Mineral Paint, and it's called Mustard. I'm only adding it to certain areas, and then I'm going to blend it in with 2 or 3 of the other colors. I'm going to keep switching back and forth between all 4 of my colors until I get it blended how I like. There's no set way to do this. You just kind of use your imagination and go with the flow, and hopefully it turns out. Now comes the fun part. You spray vinegar all over, and I work in sections, and it will bubble up the baking soda mixture, and then I'm going to dab it with a dry paper towel, and it will lift off layers of paint and make it look chippy and distressed. This next step, I created a paint wash with a darker, like bluey gray. I brushed it all over the whole piece. Then I blotted it back with a paper towel. And it kind of just toned down the bright white and the bright yellows and gave it kind of like an overall stone look. I hadn't really planned on that, but I'm just experimenting here, right? Like, I'm trying all of this stuff for the first time and just having fun with it. I sprayed water on the areas that I wanted to take more of the paint wash off of. Step number 132, I took a metal paint scraper and just went over some of the really bumpy parts and scraped them off. Some of like in those areas, some of the paint all came off, so like right down to the wood. And in other areas, it only went to the first color I put on. In some areas, it only went down to the greeny blue color that was on there. So it just depended on how stuck down it was. And yeah, so I just scraped it. I scraped the whole thing, and a little more in some areas and a little less in other areas. I gently went over it with 400 grit sandpaper. So it still has lots of texture, but there's just no sharp edges sticking out anymore. You know, it just wouldn't be a signature piece of furniture if I didn't add the gilding wax. This type of paint needs to be sealed up. I am applying the clear wax all over the painted surfaces, and then I'm gonna go in with some antiquing wax and just do around the hardware and a little bit in each corner of the details. I will just use a dry cloth to wipe away all of the excess and in any area that I don't want the dark wax. I am a total DIYer and I am not an expert upholsterer by any means, so don't do what I do. I mean, it usually turns out okay, but it's not perfect, obviously, because I'm not a professional, but how hard can it be, you know? Like, you just gotta keep on trying, and you learn from your mistakes. So that's what I'm doing. And this actually went pretty smoothly, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this project, it didn't turn out exactly how I had envisioned it in my mind. When I started this project, I kind of had an idea and an image in my mind of what it would look like. And part way through, in fact, right near the beginning of painting, I realized that it wasn't going to be at all what I had thought it was going to be. And but I kept on going, and I'm sure glad that I did, because I absolutely love it, and I think that it turned out great. It's almost noon on Sunday, and I usually upload a video today, like in the mornings, but I wasn't done this. Last night I went to bed deciding that I was changing the fabric that I had picked out and that I spent a few hours on sewing it all together. And so yeah, that didn't work out. I remembered that a very nice lady donated their silk curtains to me a while ago. So this fabric is silk and yeah, so I don't know what to say about that, but I remembered that I had it in my basement, and I have several panels of these really long silk curtains that have 3 different layers, and so it's a ton of fabric. And I got it out last night, and I put it with this, and I decided that it went together way nicer than the wool that I had originally planned on using. And I think that it would have been okay, but this just, I feel like, kind of just brings it up a notch and makes it a little more elegant, I guess, being like a faux textured finish, which is really rustic. I like to restore wood when possible, so when it's solid wood like this, it was just a no-brainer for me to just sand it down and add some stain instead of painting. I think that this whole project was a lot of fun, and I just want to really thank Christina from Belle on YouTube. Definitely check out her channel. She does some amazing textured finishes and blending on furniture, blending the paint on furniture, and this is I followed her instructions almost to a T, and I am very happy with my result. So thank you very much, Christina. Yeah, so that's about it. I don't know. I love the Would You Bend. I got the Would You Bend in the mail the other day, and this is what I wanted it for. So I ordered that specifically for this piece, and I also got some stencils and that kind of stuff. So what else can I say? I think it almost looks like stone. Like somebody's painted stone and then like several different colors, and then it just kind of looks like stone, like a big rock. It's concrete, dudes. I made a concrete bench. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to keep this. I originally, when I bought it, that's what I wanted it for, was to keep it, and I was going to put it right over there in place of the bench seat that I already have. However, I have 5 cats, and I thought the wool on top would be more durable for the cats, but that just didn't work out. So this silk, I think, is going to not be good to have with my cats, because my cats like to scratch things. So I am nervous that it will get wrecked. So I think I'm going to sell it. I think I've decided. It's going to be hard to let this one go. I don't know how much I'm going to list it for yet. I found this at an estate sale. I only paid $40 for this, and so I'm not quite sure what I would list it for yet. I'll have to sit down and think about that. Did you guys think it would turn out this way? I didn't. But I like it. It's, I have to go edit video now. So stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to do some, they call it B-roll. I don't know. I'm out of date. I'm out of touch with all the new lingo that happens. So there's going to be some pictures and there's going to be some B-roll of the finished bench. And yeah, so I uploaded a video last night, late last night, because I was up late working on this, and I just decided to publish it last night just on a whim, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's just a little thrift haul video, so I can put a link up here somewhere for you guys. So check out that video, hit that subscribe button to see more of my videos. If you like this content, then hit the like button, hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified of my next video. That's it, and thanks for being here. Take care, guys.
One last ticket before it's gone. One last summer before it's fall. Tune your strings and play your cards. Little words hit me like a game of darts. And you're beating.
Max didn't come and say hello yet. Hold on, buddy. There he is. Oh, he likes to give hugs and cuddles. Hey, buddy. Special appearance by Max. Maximus is his full name. We just call him Max. Hey, buddy. Yes. Oh, yes. Good scratches. I know. You're hairy, man. Okay, so that's it, and I'm out of here. Maxie poo. Maxie poo. You smell like cat food. Okay, you stinky. Go down, please. Yeah. Closed.